Okay, so let's go ahead and do problem number 1. For those of you who don't know how to do this, it has two x's on the same side, so you have to combine like terms first. That means these two need to be combined. So what's negative 4 minus 6 using the calculator? Negative 4 minus 6 gives you negative 10. So now you have negative 10x, bring down the equal sign, and bring down the negative 20. Now you can ask yourself what's happening to the x. The x is being multiplied by negative 10. You are multiplying by negative 10. And that's it. So what is the opposite of multiplying by negative 10? Dividing by negative 10. So divide both sides by negative 10. That gives you x equals, what is negative 20 divided by negative 10? Positive 2. Okay, and then you go and you check your answer in Schoology and make sure that you got it right. Move on to the next problem. Okay, so now we're going to go look at problem number 6. So make sure that you draw the line down the equal sign. And that you look to see if there's anything you can do on either side. So is there something that I can do on the left side? Can I combine these two? No. So leave the left side alone. Is there anything I can do to the right side to make it smaller, to simplify it? The two p's can be put together, so we're going to combine like terms. Combine like terms. So what is 5p plus 3p? 8p. Bring everything else down. So minus 8 equals p minus 1. There's nothing to distribute, and now I have a p on each side. So I have 8p on one side and p on the other side. So this is when you move the smallest variable. Move smallest variable. So which one am I going to move? Which one's the smallest variable? The 1p. So move the 1p, subtract from both sides. That leaves you with 7p. And bring everything else down. Minus 8 equals negative 1. And now you ask yourself, what's happening to p? What's happening to this p? It's being multiplied by 7. The 7 and the p are together, so it's being multiplied by 7. And it's subtracting 8. So what is the first thing you're going to do? Do the opposite. You're going to add 8. So start from the bottom. You're going to add 8 to both sides. Negative 1 plus 8 gives you positive 7, and bring down the 7p. And the last step is to divide by 7. So divide by 7 here, cancel it. Divide by 7 here. What's 7 divided by 7? 1. So p equals 1. So let's look again at the steps that you need in order to solve equations, okay? And try to go in this order whenever you're doing it. So when you solve equations or inequalities, these are the steps that you need to be looking for. Is there anything to distribute? That's the first thing. If there's none, then you skip it. Step number 2, can I combine like terms? Combine like terms on either side. Step number 3, if there's x's on both sides, or if the variable's on both sides, then you need to move the smallest variable. And step number 4, that's when you ask yourself what's happening to the x, and you do the opposite. So that's called inverse operations. Inverse, that means the opposite. So if you have addition, you subtract. If you have subtraction, you add. If you have multiplication, you divide. If you have division, you multiply. What is happening to the x? Okay, so if you follow those steps, you should be fine in all the ones that you're doing. Okay, so let's go look at problem number 14. So if I follow the steps that I just wrote down, what is the first thing I need to do with this problem? Distribute. So you're going to take that -2, and you're going to distribute it here and here. That means multiply. So what's -2 times 1? -2. And what's -2 times -7n squared? Positive 14n. Because it's a negative times a negative, becomes a positive. Bring everything else down, equal 5n plus 34. Step number 2 says to combine like terms, but there is nothing for me to combine over here, and there is nothing for me to combine right here. That means these two are not the same, and these two are not the same, so you cannot combine them. Step number 3 says to move the smallest variable. So which one's the smallest variable? 5n, so you're going to subtract 5n from both sides. N goes with the n, so 14 minus 5 gives you 9n, and bring everything else down. So it's a positive 9n, bring down the -2, bring down the equal sign, and the 34. Step number 4, inverse operations. So what is happening to the n? It's multiplying by 9 and subtracting 2 because it's a minus, so they're subtracting it. So it's multiplying by 9 and subtracting 2. So do the opposite. You're going to add 2 to both sides. So that gives you 36 equals 9n. And divide by 9 on both sides. So what's 36 divided by 9? 4. And and then you go check your answer in Schoology, make sure that you got it right. Let's say you get the answer wrong. Then you need to go back and look at where you messed up, because that means you're going to make the same mistake on the test.